one big joke. It's a fucked up world. Here we are in.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Reason Reborn, episode 87. I'm back to not remembering where we are. It's fine, people. But we can hear each other, and we don't have to restart again. And apologies for all the technical difficulties as we've been working out this new way of recording, but I think I got it right, so fingers crossed. I am here with my co-host, Cardiacsumo. How are you, sir?
Doing good. I was honestly considering pretending I couldn't speak. And I was like, he's gonna freak out again.
It's okay. I just would have thought you were like silent as you're in your covert ops gear, John Rambo.
In honor of the Call of Dicks, or whatever that game is called.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare, because we just renamed shit back the way it was already, because that won't be confusing. Although, to be fair, it was Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, and then people just dropped the 4 and called it Modern Warfare. That's so weird, because Call of Duty 4 is Modern Warfare. Yet, after that, proceeded Modern Warfare 2. And then Modern Warfare 3. And now we're going to Call of Duty Modern Warfare. So weird. So fucking weird.
There's people that go to college and get degrees in marketing.
Exactly. These people are getting paid way more than any of us to do this dumb shit. God. Like, I would have loved to have been the person who decided that Xbox One was the perfect name. Like, how much money did they get paid for that dumb idea? Jeez.
I'm sure they thought it was brilliant at the time because they were like, it's all in one. You can watch shows on it. You can maybe play video games, but we don't talk about that.
And then the person who said, but you already have a first Xbox, and people tend to call that Xbox One already. I'm sure that person got fired for saying that shit. Like, the one, smart person was fired for being a contrarian when he was being the smart person.
So you should have shut the fuck up.
Yeah, he's better off, because, yeah. Maybe he went over to Sony and, helped them do their dominance. I'll show them. Name them in order, motherfuckers. Not out of sequence.
Alright, people out there. You want to tell me where I put my water? How did I lose? Oh, there it is. Put it behind the monitor.
I'm so mad at that. I do that shit all the time, though. Don't feel bad. It reminds me of a story. Did I ever tell you the story about the girl in the club? Then we'll get into the subject. We only have one subject. You know what the subject is, people. It's the only subject that matters right now. We could talk about the little girl that, went the fuck off, even though it's related to this, because she's fucking clowned that fool, too. We could talk about, what else was there in the news? There really wasn't much in the news, now that I think of it, until this bombshell. I mean, there was a UN thing. There was a little girl with the speech.
I guess there's other stories that kind of trickled up that were somewhat related to this.
Yeah, it's kind of just more adjacent to this asshole. But anyway, I'm gonna tell you a story about the time I was at a party with a bunch of friends, and this one girl got so drunk that she walked into a public bathroom with her shoes off.
No.
So she went to the public bathroom with her shoes off because she was so fucked up. And she comes out the bathroom screaming, who took my phone? Who took my phone? She's screaming at all of us, where's my motherfucking phone? I don't know where y'all took my motherfucking phone. And we're just all staring at her as she's yelling at us because we're mystified. And she's just yelling, and then finally, I forget who, it wasn't me. Normally I'm the asshole to do this, but somebody else was like, sweetie, you're waving your phone in front of us. And she literally was like, who took my phone? Who took my phone? In front of all of us. And we're just sitting there what's going on? Needless to say, she had to spend the night at another friend's house because she was not to be trusted being alone that night.
You shouldn't have trusted her in the same room with you. You were about to get killed over a phone in her hand.
Yeah, I know. She was gonna murder us all, like with the phone, probably. That's the ironic part. Like when the cops came, the phone was going to be the murder weapon. Anyway, so let's just go ahead and talk about it. Nancy Pelosi yesterday, as the time of this recording yesterday, that I should say, announced that the House of Representatives was formally starting proceedings towards an impeachment inquiry on Donald Trump. This was done because Donald Trump had been ratted on, basically, by someone within this administration who got hold of a transcript of a conversation of him between the Ukrainian president and himself, discussing the possibility of the Ukraine utilizing certain resources to investigate and find information on Joe Biden in order for Donald Trump to use against them. To which the response of Donald Trump, despite the beheading of the behest of his attorney general and others not to, decided, you know what, I have nothing to hide. I'm going to release them because it's all a bunch of bullshit in his mind. Unfortunately, it's not a whole bunch of bullshit. We'll get into that transcript. But first of all, what was your reaction when you first heard this? And I think I was the first person to send you the article, wasn't I? Or did you hear it before?
I'd heard about the issue with Ukraine before. You were the first one to tell me that the impeachment inquiry Pelosi had announced that they were going to start that. First thought is him wanting information on Biden. I believe also Biden's son and whatever business interest he had over there.
To be specific, it was to find information on Biden's son. I think he was an ambassador there at some point. Oh, no, he had business dealings over there, and he wanted to investigate some of his business practices.
First thought there is, shit. So he also agrees that Biden's probably going to win.
Right, that's the funny part. It's like in all of this, we're not paying attention to the fact that this man is so scared of Joe Biden that he may have helped push Biden into a sure victory.
I kind of wish he went after Buttigieg or something. Be like, see, he sees Buttigieg as a threat. We should send him. But instead, he went after friggin' Joe. My disappointment with the implications of what that means for Biden probably winning aside, it feels just like a long stream of the same kind of crap. Like, of course he does this. That's just who he is. Trying to have these backdoor slimy, I don't want to say deals, because it feels more like he was trying to bully Ukraine than Ukraine was, like, as far as I know yet, super into this kind of arrangement. Because he's been withholding U.S. aid from them for a week or so prior to that call. So
yeah, it's very weird timing that he all of a sudden decides to hold it. I guess they weren't moving as fast as he wanted them to. Which sucks to be him, because by doing that he helped them kind of uncover this. He gave people time to realize that there was something up. Yeah,
and I don't want to make it to say business as usual. It's very serious that the U.S. president would withhold aid from them for no particularly good reason, most likely in order to sort of pressure them into helping him investigate a likely future political opponent. That's all super problematic, but I guess I'm just disturbed at how not surprising to me it really was. When I first saw that, I'm like, yeah, that sounds like something he'd probably do. I just kind of stopped paying attention until I kind of let the ramifications of that sink in. If that's how he deals with other world leaders. Makes me really nervous about the way our allies are looking at us. Like, look at the U.S. over there. They're bullying the Ukraine. What the fuck? Trying to make them help out in their elections. These guys can't be trusted anymore. Get them out of here. So yeah, that just feels further damaging to U.S. international relations overall. Going after Joe again, bugging me there. Um, I guess we can start talking about the inquiry itself that Nancy Pelosi opened up now. I see split opinions about this. There's some people that are like, oh, you waited too long, you're finally doing it, blah, 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 which I've kind of joked about. I've seen a few other people suggest that it was better timing to do it now, especially off the heels of this. I don't know. I'm of a mixed mind there. I could see the benefit of not doing it during the Mueller thing because the country was all kind of paying attention to it and up in a hazy. But so, like, when you fire that gunshot when nobody's looking, really, you could argue it's a bit more impactful. Not that I'm saying she necessarily strategized it like that, but
Yeah.
sure, there is a benefit you could argue. I still think it should have been done a long time ago, but I guess it's better late than never. So we'll see where
The
it
thing
goes.
is, I don't give her much credit. I don't know if anybody's out there giving her credit, but if you are, please don't. Because she pretty much just folded under pressure. Because there had been rumblings that after this whole news of the call came out, her people, like people who caucus with her, were starting to push now. They had finally was like, yeah, enough's enough. And it wasn't like she had the weight of the senior leadership of the House of Representatives like with her on the whole, like, let's just wait until the election thing. They pretty much did an about face, and once they did an about face, she was pretty much, rocking a hard place. She could have like been like, no, I'm the House leader, we're gonna hold the ground, and that would have fucked up her, tenure. At least the rest of her tenure as the leader of the House. But yeah, it wasn't like this was something that she like saw a need to do, I would say. I really think this is just her just like reading the room and realizing I can't win this fight no more, so I have to concede. Which I would say I wish her caucus would have did that earlier, because if this is the only way to get her, that's fucked up. You know, mind you, in the beginning, I understood some of her reasons about why you don't want to do this, because it could be very dangerous. And I still think it could be very dangerous. But as things start to accumulate, there's a point where you should have been like, yeah, this shit's scary. I don't know what the fuck this is going to do to the country, but I'm more scared of what he's going to do to the country. And that's the thing that bothers me, is like the fear of what he can do. Should have been paramount, because at the end of the day, while he doesn't have complete total power himself, he has the backing of people who are willing to help foster his power, and you gotta put the screws to him. You gotta make them publicly say, yeah, I'm comfortable with all of this.
Yeah. It's gonna be an interesting next few months, I guess. I've seen people say, this is a proving point for the Republican Party, or what are they going to do here? I honestly think they're going to do the same fucking thing they've always done. Like, nothing up until this point has seemed to really bother them. So, I think that they've kind of tested out their reactions to their behavior with the American public, and enough of the American public is kind of fine with them, I guess, that they're probably emboldened to be like, yeah, no, you stay, fuck you.
What's going to be interesting, because Republicans are very, very stuck in certain ways, and that Russia thing is one of them. Like, the idea of like working with Russia, even though Ukraine is not a part of the actual country Russia, that still is like a really kind of sticking point from the 80s. That still permeates. It's one of the reasons why socialism, the word socialism, is so fucking like fearful, which he brought up, and I'll get to that when we talk about the little bit of his press conference that I saw. But it's why socialism is such a like easy word for them to sling around as a weapon, because generally speaking, when we think of socialism, we think of the Cold War shit.
I wonder how much that resonates with younger. Well, okay, I guess if you throw socialism per se, a lot of Republicans will, their skin will crawl at that phrase.
Yeah, because it's how it's taught. It's I know what you're about to say, like how it will resonate with younger people, but if you are like a if you're a part of that Republican group that follows his type of rhetoric, you are someone who's been raised by another person who has been steeped in that whole Russia socialism mystique, and they've pretty much handed down that shit to you, and you're not gonna budge because apparently you only grew up in your house and never experienced the real world. I don't know.
I'm not sure that. I guess my point was going to be that I think the word socialism animates a lot of them. I don't know that Russia itself animates the younger people as much. So I think a lot of them didn't grow up with this sort of societal disdain toward Russia because of things that were going on during the Cold War.
Yeah.
So I think the word Russia will probably trigger older Republicans, but I think a lot of Americans now just don't have that kind of relationship.
Well, I don't know, because Vladimir Putin kind of still holds up that, like, he seems to want to keep the mystique alive by the bullshit that he does. So.
I don't know that it works very well.
And communism, period, because you got to think of China and North Korea. They kind of aid to that. We've made them, like, between Putin, I forget the name of the Chinese prime minister, and Kim Jong-un, they're kind of like the new axis of evil leaders to us on the political landscape,
I think for better or worse, a lot of Americans haven't thought about them until Trump, because his relationship with them is so weird.
Yeah.
That it kind of brings it back to the forefront. Putin's been around forever, but I don't remember like growing up thinking about him until the last few years. Not that that's a good thing. I think as a society, we probably should have been thinking about him the whole time, because he's been dangerous the whole time. But
yeah.
Trump's engagements kind of like bring them more into the American zeitgeist than they were, which I guess you could say is another weird effect. I don't know. I'd be interested in seeing like some numbers, just like how people in America feel toward those names, like a before and after Trump, to see if his presence has had an effect on them.
Yeah. Well, now he has this whole thing to deal with, and the reports are that behind the scenes he's pretty much losing his shit. Is not dealing with it well. Not well at all. Again, his advisors told him not to put out this transcript, and he put out this transcript thinking that it was going to help, support him.
He's not a smart person. He did something wrong, clearly.
Yeah.
So.
I feel like he's emboldened by the whole Mueller report thing, because he mentions the Mueller report even in this fucking thing. In fact, the Mueller report may have caused him to be this stupid. Because there's one line, and I need to find it, where he says, like, to the president, okay, this is in the middle of the conversation, but we'll go over the conversation a little bit more, because they've noted it and gave some details. He was like, I would like to have the Attorney General call you or your people, and I would like you to get to the bottom of it. As you saw yesterday, the whole nonsense ended with a very poor performance by a man named Robert Mueller, an incompetent performance, but they say a lot of it started with Ukraine. Whatever you can do, it's very important that you do it if that's possible.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it just seems like he's flailing. I only, like I talked to you before we started, I only got a bit of this press conference, but he's just kind of rambling off, kind of just I don't know how to describe it. Like he was just like throwing a bunch of stuff out there to kind of batter the legitimacy of the idea that he did something wrong. Because he talked about people doing this and people doing that, and Mueller saying this, Mueller saying that, and just things that weren't even really related. It's like he just came with a list of things he could just kind of throw into people's minds to kind of weaken their disdain toward what he did.
Yeah.
Thinking about it in general, I think the thing that makes me laugh a little bit is just how he's doing this stuff to himself. Like some problems in life just kind of happen to you. You know, you can't really do much about them at the time. You just kind of have to go with the flow and adjust to it. With him, he just constantly setting stuff on fire around him and then being like, "Why is everything on fire around me?"
Yeah, and it's so weird because when asked about the conversation, he feels, of course, like there's nothing wrong, but he describes it as a perfect conversation, which to me, after looking at it and reading this and then watching the part of the press conference that I caught, it makes me realize that this is a man who thought that he's being as clever as possible when he's not. Like, to some credit to him, yes, he did not openly say, if you do this, I'll do this. But if you look at this conversation, it's not perfect at all. It's super suggestive in a way that you can probably find out a lot, or at least you can be directed to some key places to look in certain behavior, like that's going on and certain things that are happening. It's like, it's not hard to put, the pieces together. Now, are the pieces as crystal clear as you want them? Of course not, because he didn't directly say, yo, you got to do this for me. But you've given people reason, including this guy who originally caught it, who's going to actually be talking to the Senate Intelligence Committee, which don't help Trump's case at all, that could possibly start to dig into different things. Because another mistake that Trump made is that during the part of the press conference that I was watching, they were talking to him about like maybe other conversations, and he was like, they asked him about the precedent of this whole thing. And he was like, yeah, it's something I'm not comfortable with, and yes, it is a precedent, but I just needed to put it out there, of course, because the fake media, and he wanted to show them that there's nothing wrong. And they asked him like about some other stuff, and he was like, I mean, if they want other stuff, I'll be more than happy to give it to you. I'm like, do you really want to do that? Do you really want to be on national TV and say that, yo, if you come up with something else, I'll release that too? He said that. He fucking said that shit.
Yeah, but he says a lot of stuff. Like, there's no...
Okay, but see, the problem is, with him saying it on TV after the inquiry, he's basically given them a clue that, yeah, there probably is some more shit out there that you probably want to listen to. And under the, rules of the inquiry, he's going to have to fight fucking hard as fuck to stop that, because now this is an official investigation. For him to say no is obstruction. He's running into that territory of obstruction, head on now. That's why when this came out, they were trying to beg for time to really redact it as much as possible. And even the quote-unquote, I guess, redacted version is still too much shit because, yeah. Yeah, and I can see why Barr wouldn't want it, because Barr was implicated a couple of times as being a point of contact. So was Giuliani. And that's why Giuliani has an issue with it, because he actually sent Giuliani to go talk to this guy after this conversation. And he indicates that he's going to send Giuliani to talk. He indicates, I'm going to have Barr call you to have a discussion about these things that we're talking about. He sent Pence over there not too long after there. And in this conversation, you get a sense that, yeah, okay, it's probably why he canceled his trip over there to Poland, but sent Pence instead, because he said, we'll probably see you somewhere later, at the meeting, or maybe we'll see you before in Poland. And that's in relation to Pence goes to Poland and has a conversation with this guy. It's again, it's not a direct thing, but it's just yo, you gotta be a fucking idiot I see this thing like add up.
I wonder. I'm sure it's been covered, but I wonder how his staff feels. I mean, oh, maybe they're just used to it. I don't know. Maybe
They gotta be shitting bricks. I would be shitting bricks because it's like, yo, he's going to roll them into what they want. Because if you watch if you ever saw the press conference, if you get a bit of highlights, especially near the end, this guy's sweating like a pig, talking, and he was giving like his weird rants, his whole like this is the witch hunt and the fake media, because he said something, he was answering a question, and then he stopped himself like, wait, well, let me correct myself first because I don't want to say nothing. Because like, oh, President Trump gave a wrong fact. That's what the fake news is going to do. They're going to give a headline that I said something incorrectly. This is like, you see the like childishness, like the normal childishness, a little bit more amped up because he's just like agitated and nervous and irritated. Like he was the asshole that he normally is, but he was a more anxious asshole in my opinion.
Yeah, because I only caught a few minutes of it. Really, was he yelling at any point? Because the one I saw, he looked like he was saying his typical fake news media. This, they did this, his typical stick. But it was really low energy. The part that I saw, like he was just kind of.
Yes.
I was like, did this dude give up? Is he defeated?
It was kind of whinish. It was more like it was more whine. It wasn't as brash. Like he was saying the brash things, but it was kind of like with a, it's like a kid that got caught and knows he's going to get in trouble regardless, but he still tries to act like he didn't do anything. But it's like you clearly can tell he knows that he did it, and he knows that he's going to get in trouble. So
I'm kind of used to a tone with him that's more aggressive and outward punching in every direction. He's still kind of punching, but it's kind of like, I don't want to say he knows that he's lost the fight. It's almost like he just like, fake news media. Like he just has this stuff listed in his head.
Yeah, because he went on this whole tangent about like the whole Mueller thing, and he was like, "Yeah, I mean, we saw it with the Mueller report, and he didn't go well, and they exonerated me, but they still want to do this because they're sitting here with this Mueller report, and they're going after me, and I'm just sitting there like thinking, just like, you do this to me, but why don't you go after Joe Biden?" It was like, do you not realize that the Mueller report wasn't about Biden or about anything else but the specific situation? It was like, it's normal of him to try to connect things that don't connect together. Like, we all knew the investigation was on the election, not about Joe Biden's son's business dealings in the Ukraine. But even then, the way that he said it, it was just like, it wasn't as sharp, like how in the earlier days when people were fucking with him, and he'd just be like, well, Hillary got the emails. Hillary deleted all this. I mean, Hillary and her stuff, it was just like, I mean, I don't understand why you're not going after him. He did something too. It was more like, yeah, I did break the vase, Mom, but, Robbie, he fucking dropped the box of like cereal the other day. Why aren't you yelling at him? It's like, that was days ago, and that was something different. I'll get to Robbie later. I'm talking to you. You know what I mean? He really came off as like that child that just like couldn't figure out how to escape punishment at that moment.
I guess the point of me asking is, does it feel like he just isn't bothering to escape? Because when you first sent me the news that Nancy was announcing the impeachment inquiry, I said something kind of jokingly, but I don't know how serious it ought to have been. I had said, okay, so we're starting this at the end of 2019, knowing that next year in 2020 we're going to be doing the elections essentially to put in place, I guess either him if he gets reelected or hopefully a new president. Am I childish for thinking that it's like, I don't want to say too little too late, but it feels really late in this game to be pulling out your secret weapon? especially going into the election itself, where we already have like all the swirl with the Democratic candidates. Because I think I'm more just acutely thinking about it because I'm going to be starting a new job soon. I've got to move, and I'm kind of acutely aware that we're at the end of the year.
Oh shit! You got to register for California. Yay! You'll be able to vote in the California caucus. Awesome.
Yeah, but my thought is like, all right, so I'm going to be doing this move right before like the Thanksgiving Christmas time frame. So I'm kind of aware that we're in the end of 2019, like right about now. So when I see them announcing this move, I'm like, all right, 2019 is about over, really, for most Americans. By the time we're really going to focus on this, we're going to be somewhere first quarter of 2020. It just feels like you should have done it a long time ago.
Yeah.
We were worried about, the social ramifications, the political ramifications. You might hurt a Democrat being elected now because you're doing it now. So it doesn't feel like top tier strategy to me.
Not only that, like I get the whole I fear Biden because Biden's leading the polls and yada yada yada. What if Biden taps out? Like not he gets beaten, but what if he just like realizes that yo, I don't have the energy for this. I can't do this, and he taps out, and then you get a Bernie or Elizabeth Warren, somebody who seriously knows how to tilt you. Like, not somebody who's gonna just go old man to old man, toe to toe with you, but somebody who's gonna fucking actually outwit you and make you look stupid. Or what if you do get your boy Buttigieg, who's going to outgrace you? Who's gonna, if Buttigieg did it, he would Obama him in comparison to how Obama did fucking Romney, and just make you look like a fucking clod. Even if mind you, that's not hard to do with Trump, but like Romney wasn't like a dummy, and fucking Obama made him look like, it was kind of the JFK Richard Nixon thing. It's like, yo, you look like a fucking fool standing up to this man.
It might be even more exaggerated because of the age difference. Because, say what you will about Romney, he wasn't an ugly guy. He looked fairly young, handsome.
Yeah.
But you compare so if you were to compare him and Obama, you'd be like, all right, for older men, both in decent shape, both look fine. If you look at like Buttigieg and like Trump, you're like, it's just a weird side by side.
Yeah, it's a more JFK Nixon thing than anything, but yeah.
So you'd be looking at this like babbling old man who looked like he just hopped out of his house and is shitting, like yelling at kids on the lawn, and then you see this more articulate guy. I don't think it's the side by side you want.
No, but no, if you remove Biden from the thing and take the next four in line, who basically we're saying Sanders, Warren, Buttigieg, and I guess O'Rourke would be the fifth. He does, in comparison, he can't campaign against any of them. And it's hurtful that like his one huge salvo to go at Biden is to go the Clinton route again and to find some controversy to try to like shock people with. The Biden shit is just emails all over again. And I don't know why it's probably not going to be clear, but it should be clear. It should be very, very fearful for his constituency that the only like bullet he has in his gun is to fucking needle at the point of something like that in his opponents. He can't contend with them policy wise. He can't contend with them, intelligence wise. He's not a good speaker. He doesn't relate, but he can sure pick a fight and like, needle a point. That's about it. Like, what is he going to say about them? I mean, I guess with Bernie and Warren, he's just going to try to plug the socialism thing, but there's no outright proof that they're socialists.
I mean, there doesn't need to be for a lot of people.
But I'm just saying, it's just like he doesn't have a smoking gun in his mind for them. And it's hard for him to compete without that, I think.
True. I got distracted. I was trying to look up like Buttigieg's height. So I was talking about that side by side. I was like, the one thing that's probably going to hurt him is I'm certain Buttigieg is shorter than Trump. And for some people, that's just going to stick out.
But no, it's not, because look at like from a visual thing. Okay, sure, he's shorter, but he's well groomed, well mannered, well dressed, articulate, handsome, and a bit of charming personality. Where Trump, sure, he's taller, he's also fatter. Let's be honest, like.
Sure.
He's sloppily dressed. He sounds like a fucking moron. That reads.
Maybe, but the age thing, like if they see him, because when I googled it, like I couldn't find a number for his height then, but I did see this one article where they were pointing to this picture. I think they were at an airport and like O'Rourke was walking by and talking to Buttigieg. And Buttigieg just like noticeably shorter. And,
well, that's because fucking O'Rourke is a goddamn like giant.
He's like 6'4". He's not unusually tall.
Yeah, he should be an NBA.
Maybe, but like
says the 5'9" person.
Twitter posted it was like, say what you will about O'Rourke, but he was nice enough to help his boy find his.
Buttigieg is 5'8", by the way.
He's a giant among men.
So yeah, if he's 5'8" and Beto is what 6'4", yeah, he does look like he's fucking dwarfing him.
Trump at 6'3", so it's about the same.
Like him and Elizabeth Warren are the same height.
I don't know. Maybe it depends on how much height really matters.
By the way, you've sent me down a weird rabbit hole, but. No, because like when I looked up Beto's height, all of a sudden everybody else's height came up. That's why I knew about Warren. You got Cory Booker with this 6'2" murderous frame, and then Bill De Blasio's 6'5". What the fuck? You need to go help the Knicks. Not run for president. His basketball team sucks. They need him.
All people win elections, man. I don't think it should matter, but I believe that there are some people who will see that and it will have the wrong impact on them. Whether it's like they really like realize it or not.
Yo, Bernie is 6 feet tall? God damn. I know, I'm off on a weird tangent.
Buttigieg should run on that. Be like, man, what the fuck do these tall people ever do for you? Huh? They literally don't care about the little guy. Yep. This should be just part of his platform. Get my vote in a heartbeat. Alright, a lot of us out here are fucking 7 feet tall.
Your girl Tulsi is 5'8" too.
Shit.
Speaking of Tulsi Gabbard, fuck her too. Because she doesn't think that this is the right thing to do, of course, because she's really a fucking Republican. And I don't know why she don't just switch affiliations. Like, just do it. Stop hiding. You won an election in Hawaii. Clearly, there's enough conservatives in Hawaii that appreciate you. You don't need to, like, act like you're blue. You're not blue. Your gun murderous ways. Just take your gun murderous ways and go all the way.
You're talking about the next president in a very disrespectful way.
She needs to drop out. Just drop out.
All right, bro. You might end up vanished.
Whatever. She's actually 38 years old. Interesting. Evil ages you.
She's not aged at all. What do you mean?
That's why she got that gray streak. It's the gray streak of death.
Yeah, I forgot. Oh, you were saying death like a bad thing. Well, I think like in a goth kind of way. I'm like, yeah.
Lord. Anyway.
Yeah, as you mentioned it was De Blasio that. Yeah, it was De Blasio that dropped out, right?
Yeah, that was the other news that we could have talked about. But who cares that De Blasio dropped out? You know,
I couldn't remember when it happened. If we already mentioned it.
It happened the day after we recorded last week. So.
Yeah, another one bites dust.
Yep, he said I gotta go back to my son. What is his son's name?
Daquan.
I gotta go back to my black son who's got a black name.
Are you googling it?
Yeah,
I
because
hope it's Daquan.
Dante. I knew it started with the D. Like I said, Damien, Daquan, Deshaun,
Yeah.
DeMarcus.
I overreached by putting a Q in there. I was like, it's Daquan.
Yeah, they actually used a real name.
Sure.
I mean, it makes sense
Name,
though,
but yeah, it's
because
a real
you know
one.
he is Italian. Dante. Boom.
Overreached, man. I should have just pulled back the blackness just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I would have got it. But yeah, he's out. I hope nobody would try to replace him. I can't.
Well,
think
no,
of-
that guy is still in there. The fucking other billionaire that came in. I forget his name. Guy who's not gonna win. That's just his name.
All I want for Christmas is less candidates.
Well, let's see if you will get a wish. So last week at the time, it was 11 people who had qualified. So now, 1, 2, 3, 4. Shit, now it's up to 12. Holy shit. Gabbert qualified.
See, with all that.
Gabbert's
shit,
fucking in. God damn it.
The street can't be stopped, Jack.
It's a damn shame.
Feeling defeated, huh?
Yeah, I don't.
You doubted the streak, huh? Look what it got you.
Well, joke's on you because now you got to listen to 12 motherfuckers go at it.
Well, one of them has a streak, so.
I hope they put her on the second night.
Plus, it doesn't matter. Wait. The lunatic isn't there, right? She's not one of the people.
Not yet. No.
Then I could probably manage. You know, I think we've carved a decent number of them down. I don't like the way that we up from the last one. That feels like the exact wrong direction to be moving. We should have carved down to like 8 by now, at least. How do you go? What kind of countdown is this, bro? You don't count down and then go up.
Right.
What the fuck?
We literally just added more people after we like shaved it down to a reasonable number.
And that makes me feel dumb because I was praising them like, yes, finally, we're down. It's more manageable. And they're like, surprise, bitch.
Yeah, like I need this new guy and I need Gabbert to just go. I also need. I'm sorry, but Amy Klobuchar, you got to go too. It's funny because after that, I'm okay with the 9. Well, no, Castro probably should go too. Yeah. So that would be 8.
I mean, he did come off like a petty asshole, so you heard him.
Yeah, that would cut it to 8. Then it's kind of hard to trim the fat, huh?
He was one of those people speaking Spanish that was like, all right, I guess he's actually Spanish, so I guess I have to tolerate it.
He was like, you can't say nothing about me like you were talking about Beto.
Like with Beto and Booker and everybody, I was like, bruh. I you know what, it would have been awesome if like a bunch of Asian people came in and protested, like, what the fuck, man? Spanish the only language you guys know? We don't.
Yo, Yang should just like break out his like family. I don't know, like, what is Yang's ethnic background?
I don't know.
I don't want to like be the the assumptuous American asshole and be like he's just Chinese because his last name is Yang. Because that's not true.
I mean, open it up. Like a bunch of people that are not Spanish speakers, that speak a different language, just come over and be like, "What's up? Spanish people only matter." And you know, I get it. There's rough relations as far as the immigration debate goes, but
And see, Google is being such an asshole. Because I looked up his racial background, and what does Google have for his Wikipedia page? Yang is at least the third American of East Asian descent to run for president. There's a lot of people from East Asia, bro.
One of them is Yang. Probably many of them are Yangs, but you know what I mean. Like one of them is Andrew Yang.
And then he doesn't help because he always throws out the joke. He's an Asian guy who likes some ass.
I've seen him get shit for that from the Asian community, and I don't know.
It's kind of corny. It's kind of probably because, like, yo, come on, could you be a little more clever? I'm sure it's not because they hate it. It's just like, yo, is that the best you can do? Like,
well, they argue it's perpetuating stereotypes, but to me, it's like a dad joke at best.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's where I would be pissed at. It's just like, yo, you just the corniest.
But he doesn't seem to pay much attention to it. Like, whatever. I'm Asian. I can do what the fuck I want. I'm like, yeah. Don't apologize for that. But we all kind of know that you're fucking around, so it doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah, but this is like it's a weak joke at this point, in my opinion. Like, you can't keep using that. Just stop it.
Stop. I would stop. Like, it was kind of cute the first time I heard
Oh my god! Now I really don't like him because I see where he was born, and I know somebody from there that I'm not that fond of anymore.
And they're definitely
fucking Schenectady, New York. No, but that says something. You're from Schenectady and you're listening to this. Apologies, but you got some shit people in Schenectady.
Apologies, but you're a piece of trash. But yeah, hopefully that carves down. Just as a joke, they have the podiums for the debates. They should have an extra one, and then like Greta Thunberg, whatever her name is, just kind of shows up and stands there for a couple minutes, just to get Trump in a tizzy.
I mean, he's in a big enough tizzy as it is with this whole bullshit with the impeachment. Now,
I just want to see like a camera on him, and then she shows up at a podium during the debates, and he's like, "What the fuck? Can't get rid of this kid."
By the way, that was perfect how she just used his, like, what he thought was a slander, and just like, okay, I'm good, yeah. Like, I am a bright young lady with a hopeful future. You goddamn right, motherfucker. Your future ain't hopeful. Clearly, not anymore. Or is it? That's the thing. What do you think this whole thing will end up resulting in, seriously?
This whole thing being the impeachment stuff?
Yeah. Because, okay, so before we do that, let's go a little bit more into the transcript. And CNN has a very good, noted version of it that highlights a few things in the conversation. Like, you know, clearly the Ukrainian president knows how to get to Trump by saying, "I would like to confess to you that I had an opportunity to learn from you. We used quite a few of your skills and knowledge." Clearly trying to flatter him and say, "Yeah, I'm a friend," like, whatever. Dude, whatever. If you couldn't pay like Trump to win, then you're an asshole and you need to go. He also made a comment about how he would like to drain the swamp in his country. Again, easiest way to get something out of Trump. Just butter him up. Yeah. Trump mentioned that he would like for other countries to help them more because they do a lot for the United States. Basically, his whole line was, we do a lot of stuff for you. A lot. He would come back to that. Like, because we do things for you. Remember when, how some people, when they want to set you up to ask you for something in return, they keep mentioning how, yeah, we do stuff for you because that's how we, we've always been good. Haven't I always been good to you? Haven't I always treated you well? When you ever needed help, who was there for you, bruh? Yeah. He did a lot of that, and eventually it led to him saying, I would like you to do us a favor. Though, because our country has been through a lot and Ukraine knows a lot about it, I would like you to find out what happened with this whole situation with Ukraine. They say CrowdStrike. I guess you have one of your wealthy people, the server. They say Ukraine has it. There are a lot of things that went on the whole situation. I think you're surrounding yourself with some of the same people. It's generally just talking about the firm that investigated the DNC breach. The server he's speaking about is the server that has whatever they were looking for in that data breach, the information on there. So he's clearly saying, yeah, I know that you guys have that information, or I think you guys have that information from the server on there. First huge red flag. Then he talks about how he would like to have the Attorney General call you or your people, and I would like you to get to the bottom of it. As you saw yesterday, that's when he went on the whole thing with the Mueller report thing and all of that. And this is after a part of the conversation where the Ukrainian president asked if there was a possibility for them to buy more weapons to help their military. And his response was, yeah, so why don't you give my boy a call so you can help him out with this thing? Yeah. It's basically just like, And it goes on with the president saying, for me as a president, it is very important and we are open for any further cooperation. We are ready to open a new page of cooperation and relations between the United States and Ukraine. For that purpose, I just recalled our ambassador from the United States, and he will be replaced by a very competent and very experienced ambassador who will work hard on making sure that our two nations are getting closer. Now, in all of this, he goes on to talk about how one of his assistants actually spoke to Giuliani recently. So there have been contact beyond this conversation, outside of this conversation, with Giuliani somehow working in between there. And he was saying how he was hoping that Giuliani would come to Ukraine so they can meet and talk. And he said, I guarantee as the president of Ukraine that all the investigations will be done openly and candidly. I assure you. So, he basically kind of doesn't say I guess he doesn't say the word yes, but he's clearly saying yeah, I'm open to that, doing stuff for you. He basically said yeah without saying the word yeah. Right there. And then Trump goes on to mention again, he'll have him talk to the Attorney General. If I'm William Barr, I'm like, the fuck are you putting me in this conversation for? And that's why William Barr was one of the loudest voices against him putting this out, because this kind of puts him in line for impeachment now. Because now they're going to be looking for, what the fuck did you talk to them about? He's clearly under the microscope right now.
I remember there was talk at some point about impeaching Barr before.
Yeah, during the whole thing with the release of the Mueller report. And
right, so it's not like he's always been secure or anything like that. They've kind of gunned for him already a little bit. So if I was him, I'd be a little bit nervous there.
Yeah, and it makes sense listening and reading all this stuff. You're like, yeah, He should have been like, no, don't you dare put this shit out. And Trump, being Trump,
You're not the boss of me, Dad.
it's like, yo, listen to the Attorney General.
They never listen to anybody. That's part of the reason he's always in so much crap.
Yeah, and then he goes on to mention the whole thing. There's a lot of talk about Biden's son, that Biden stopped the prosecution, and a lot of people wanted to find out about that. So whatever you could do with the Attorney General would be great. Let me go back and read this from the beginning. The former ambassador from the United States, the woman was bad news, and the people she was dealing with in the Ukraine were bad news. So I just want to let you know that. The other thing, here's a lot of talk about Biden's son, that Biden stopped the prosecution, and a lot of people want to find out about that. So whatever you can do with the Attorney General would be great. Biden went around bragging that he stopped the prosecution. So if you could look into it, it sounds horrible to me. He's clearly telling him, yo, could you please find out the dirt on Joe Biden? Now, whether Biden did something or not, that's irregardless. Because one, it makes no sense since Biden's not the presidential nominee for one. By the way, again, I stressed this before, but if anything, he may have gotten away. He may have taken the opportunity to rid himself of the one opponent that he could have set himself up to defend against with this bullshit by putting this transcript out, clearly showing that he's going to target Biden. Because now, if I'm the Democratic Party, it's like, okay, let's check and confirm some of this stuff. If this is shady about Biden, we turn our about face and we're not pushing for Biden at all. We're pushing for anybody but Biden. And then what?
I mean, in fairness to him, I'm sure he didn't think he was going to get caught.
He never does.
So it probably just never crossed his mind that this would have. Logically, he must have assumed he would be fine. He is a very stable genius. There's no reason to think anybody could, How did they uncover my master plan?
But he also tells on himself in a case in which he talks about this ambassador, which he removed. And if he feels like this Attorney General had anything to do with the Biden thing, it's probably because he thought that she was maybe protecting him. In any sense, he clearly states that, yeah, I didn't like her. She's a Democrat, and she wasn't working for me because she wasn't going to work with me the way I wanted to, so I had to get rid of her. And now that she's gone, we can put somebody in place that's going to work with your people, and now, yeah, we can go ahead and do this thing. So, and then the president, basically, the president of Ukraine basically says that he's got a candidate who is going to be approved by Parliament and will start as a new prosecutor in September. He or she will look into the situation specifically to the company that you mentioned in the issue. He basically says, okay, once I get my man in place, I'll help you out. So Trump pretty much has negotiated a deal after this guy asked for aid, in which, yeah, again, he didn't say, I'll give you this for that, but the conversation suggests, you do me this solid, I do you a solid. He's been railing against the whole quid pro quo thing, which I'm surprised he knows what the fuck that means, to be quite honest. I'm sure somebody had to explain to him what it means, but yeah, it generally sounds like a conversation where I'm offering to do something for you, you're offering to do something to me. Somehow these two things are going to exchange, and we both get what we want. It's quick. And again, he mentioned Giuliani again, how Giuliani will get in contact with them, and all of that.
I'm so surprised Giuliani exists a little bit. I feel like I haven't seen him much in the news lately.
You didn't see that fucking rant he went on against Cuomo the other day? Jesus Christ.
Oh, I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
like
And I intentionally avoided it because I saw his face.
yeah, because it was like it made no sense. It made no goddamn sense, but it makes sense why he was acting a fool because now he's in the shit too.
I saw a couple headlines and then I was like, no. Because I guess I've just seen him talk enough times to know that he's so maybe it's not that he hasn't been around, maybe it's that I've been avoiding him a little bit without realizing. But, I don't know, it's interesting stuff. I think we'll see where we're coming up in the next couple weeks. I will say that there's a certain show about to start, so I don't know how much we want to dig into.
Oh no, we're almost done. Trust me. And yes, people, we've timed this perfectly so we can watch wrestling. Don't judge us. Anyway, because this is pretty much the
Judge me all you want.
Well, this is the pretty much the end of the whole conversation anyway, and I suddenly can't remember what channel USA is. Shit. There we go.
USA channel.
Anyway, so after that, he basically was like, "Yeah, I'll have Rudy to call you, and I'll have the Attorney General." And he says, "I will tell Rudy and Attorney General Barr to call. Thank you. Whenever you would like to come to the White House, feel free to call. Give us a date and we'll work that out. I look forward to seeing you." He's put everybody in this. And then that's when he goes on to talk about the trip in Poland. The Ukraine president says he hopes to see him in Poland. Of course, Trump didn't go. He said he lied and said he was dealing with Hurricane Dorian. He was golfing. He sent Mike Pence. Pence says he never brought up the issue, but he did comment on the whole issue of corruption. So Pence talked to them about the fucking Biden issue. Pence was in it on it too. I'm pretty sure. And they exchanged pleasantries and all of that, and that was the end of the conversation. Now, from all of this, was it a perfect conversation, as Trump said?
If your goal is to be impeached, yes, I guess. I know it's pretty damning, as a lot of things that could come out of his mouth are. And like I said before, while other people in life are dealing with misfortunes that just kind of come at them undeservedly, he just speaks all of his misfortunes into existence for completely unprovoked.
Yeah.
He's dug his own grave.
Yet he escapes them, unlike other people. Which I really hope he doesn't escape this, because this will be crazy. Although it could be if we live in a society in which people actually really do give a damn and actually think for a change. This could be damaging to the Republican Party if they don't side with the Democrats on impeaching this guy. Because you are being, complicit. And I think this is why this is probably the best area to come at him, because he's opened the floodgates. He's admitted that he is willing to tell other stuff publicly. Let him start dropping all the stuff he wants and just shorten his own rope.
Yeah, that'll be a point of focus in coming months, is what the Republicans do. If over the last few years they've grown some level of a spine, we'll see. I'm still very doubtful. I'm not as confident. Some people are like, yeah, this is going to be the moment for public. I think we said that a few times, but I welcome being proven wrong. So.
Yeah, I do too. Really quick note, the socialism thing that he brought up. He spoke to a Venezuelan reporter, and he went on a tirade about how there would be no socialism in the United States, and we see how socialism has done the world and blah blah in your country and all of that. It was a very, very weird thing, because it was just there was barely any questions in that press conference, by the way. He was just rambling on about he don't want to be bothered with this situation for the most part.
Was that reporter like hyping up socialism? Like, why bring that up?
She didn't say that, but he hyped it up because he was talking about, yeah, your country's in a bad way, and you know it'll get better.
He was just aware that they were Venezuelan, and then just kind of brought it up unprovoked.
Well, she said where she was from, and then he just went on his tangent. So
I don't want to throw the word racist out there, but his focus on race is kind of damning. He's definitely done that kind of thing before, where he'll just like ask people where they're from. And it's not to weaponize it, at least in like a way that's not important or relevant.
yeah, because he kept hopping on, oh yeah, Venezuela, we do a lot of things for you too. We really do. Like
is she a Venezuelan ambassador? Like, why are you bringing?
Right, like she don't have no pull. She ain't gonna fucking like curry no favor for you. Like, could you ask them if I could have asylum if they get me, please?
Representative, like,
please. Like, yeah.
It happens to be a Venezuelan descent, so you're just gonna hold this situation. Which, by the way, it's just a shitty thing to do, to hold that situation over her head when it's not even relevant to the conversation.
Yeah. But it is what it is. Anyway, I just saw Keith Lee come out, so that says that it's time to end this thing. But it'll be interesting to see where this whole thing goes. People, please comment and let me know what you think about this whole situation. Now, really quick, make sure to check out all the links. Our social media stuff is in the description, so you can catch us on there. You know I'm always ranting on Twitter. He's always buying art. Yeah.
We need to start a Patreon just for my art.
People, we have a Patreon. You can help support this man's habit. Please.
No, it wouldn't. That money would never go toward that.
Let's help the junkie out, please. He needs help.
I joke, but I don't want personal stuff. Just for toys. What? Let's keep it with your video game. Something wrong with this motherfucker. Anyway. Something about the lighting. I genuinely thought I was looking at a commercial for their.
Yeah, they just need to just come out with the NXT wrestling game. Don't put them in the WWE thing. Just make an NXT game. Yeah.
But yes, right now I have two pieces, and I'm like, I need a third, and I can't decide if one by Lee Week or just a third piece by Tony Daniel. I was eyeballing Joel Jones art.
People, donate to this man so he don't put himself in poverty buying art.
I already did it a little bit. Like, I was looking at my, I'm like, I still got some money, but I was like, I could definitely tell the difference. Because now I'm actually kind of looking at. I hadn't done that in like because I got a bonus like late last year because I never buy anything sitting there for emergencies like buying Batman art.
By the way, I know they messed up on the graphic at first, but they brought it back, and now I'm seeing it. I love that they put the tail of the tape shit like that. It's actually pretty cool. All right, we're about to go like watch wrestling, guys. So again, thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it, and we'll see you next week. Hopefully, with no president in office, and no vice president, and no attorney general. I don't know. Pray for a miracle, people.
Ideally, we would have like replacements that are good.
Yo, that would be. It's like not a natural disaster wipes out the top of the government, but their stupidity rids us of all of them. That would be amazing. All right, everybody, we're out of here. No suggestions to read. Just read the fucking transcript. That's what you should do, and laugh and laugh and laugh. All right, everybody, we're out of here. See you next time on the Reason Reborn. Peace.